Yeah, man, it's the 21st of June 2023, and this is an update about gang stalking and remote neural monitoring, broadcast, torture. I want to talk about a few things. Imagine if you were alive like 200 years ago, and you was riding your horse out through wherever, and you came up on some people, and they had something like walkie talkies, right? And then, hey, blah blah blah, and then somebody comes back, hey, uh, you'd be mind blown. You'd be like, what in the world? It's magic. They've got a magic device, and it's been like that over the last 100 years, 120 years, where humanity went for a long, long time with not very much technology, at least in this modern human era that we know of. I mean, there's speculation of some sort of advanced technology way beyond what we can validate, thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago or something like that. And we just don't know really how they built pyramids and had, the capability to machine things and stuff like that, like, 50,000 years ago. We don't know. But we do know that there was not very much technology 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, and we can find the archaeological evidence of pretty much how people lived in those days. And basically, for thousands and thousands of years, if not hundreds of thousands of years, it was sticks and stones and fire and walking staffs and whatever. There wasn't any technology as far as electronic technology. And now, in the last 100 years, basically, we've come so far from uh, discovering electricity with a kite or whatever, however they did it, and then all the way up to all sorts of broadcast technology and crazy scientific molecular things. And it's pretty wild. But anybody from some time before then would be blown away, and they would be like, oh my god, this is magic. Like, you must be a demon, you must be magic, something like that, sorcerer. And we're walking around with cell phones and all sorts of advanced technology that we're just born into it, and we don't know the difference. We don't know life without it. And we're very adaptable as a species. So if we have children today, and those children grow up in a world where teleporting is just a normal thing, then to them it will be a normal thing. Even to us, it seem magic and all kinds of stuff, but to them it would just be a normal thing. And you really got to equate that into your whole process with this neural monitoring stuff, because people haven't seen it. People haven't seen what's possible with all of this stuff. And there's always going to be the skeptics that haven't experienced remote neural monitoring, where people can connect to you and talk to you and know what you're thinking and all of that kind of stuff. One thing that I seen this week, there was a guy. He went to Harvard, and he created this thing, and he wears it like just like a little thing, and it's like touching up against his bone right here behind his ear, and it would allow him to communicate with a computer. And what would happen was somebody would ask him about a question. They would say, okay, they'd ask him the question, and then he would think that question, and the thing that he was wearing would pick up his thoughts, and he would basically think that question to Google, and then Google would respond to him, and he would tell these people, like, what's the search results or whatever it was that they were asking. And this is like real stuff. This guy was, somebody that went to Harvard. I don't know his name. I forget. I seen the story like 2 days ago. And this is just something that he figured out. And uh, EEG machines that can read brain waves and stuff like that. It's very basic. There's a lot of technology, if you start to look around out there, that's like mind control technology. And um, yeah, people get this idea of like, oh, mind control, wander into traffic because I'm mind controlled. And that's not typically how mind control works. Maybe there is something like that. And neural monitoring probably does have some aspects of that. But in general, when I say mind control, and when we're talking about mind control, we're talking about controlling something with your mind, not being mind controlled. It's the same thing, kinda. So uh, a gang stalker that's on mind control. When I say they're on mind control, that means they've uh, set the settings on neural monitoring that they're accessing online. They're setting up the settings to connect with another person, or perhaps a program, or however else they might be able to do it. But they're able to connect with a person to receive. Okay, and they wear something. They call it a mind control. They're like, my mind control, this or that. They're talking about this headset device that they wear, and they call it a mind control, and it allows them to receive somebody else. Uh, Typically, artificial telepathy, it's a form of mind control, and if somebody's talking to you, the urge is to talk along with them. It's kind of like you're hearing it, but it's actually going through your mind at that same time, and it makes you want to talk along with them. And it takes some practice to not talk along with them. And it's not fun when you're subjected to this unconsensually, by force, by gang stalkers that are using neural monitoring in malicious ways. And you feel like an idiot because you're talking along with them. And one guy used to tell me, uh, I could talk for myself, Kevin. I could talk for myself. And he would talk real slow, and just guy named, they call him Black James. And he would talk real slow and like real precise. And he would have the settings on the neural monitoring turned up for me to receive that, and I'm just talking along with him, right? And I felt like an idiot, and it took some time to be able to just hear these idiots without actually saying along with them whatever it is that they're saying. And they love that. It's like one of the little games they love to play is to try to find somebody that they can connect to unconsensually, call that person a target, um, talk, do whatever they want to, and play these little mind games with that person. And once all of that plays out in the first year, maybe two, then it just starts to become something else. It starts to become something else because the fun and games are over with. And even during that time, you might be tortured and attacked by broadcast. Because when I say attacked by broadcast, I'm talking about when they're on mind control and they're able to connect to a broadcast. So just like a hologram broadcast could be standing next to you. And with that, or it could be this big or it could be 10 feet tall. And with that, they're able to get on you, penetrate your body, and put their broadcast wherever they want to. And they are able to live as these broadcasts, or they're able to just broadcast themselves on you where it would be like them where they are. It'd be like basically a broadcast, almost like a video stream, and they could just put that into your body. It's very painful when they do it in certain ways. And even if you were tortured or even if you were going through the beginning phases where you're trying to learn what's going on and figure it out, and they're playing all of these games, it's very likely that they're still doing torture on your body, physically torturing you with broadcast. And when they do that, I'm talking about like serious torture. They have a thought in mind, like, I want to do this to that person, and I will, like, for example, they might say, let's damage this part of his body, or let's try to mutilate his face to make him look old or something like that. And they stick with these agendas and they work on that over time. And they might put like broadcasts in your eyes or broadcasts in your mouth or like they for the last all the time. I'm always like the last few days, but really all the time. But they go through different little phases where they do horrible things for a few days, and then they'll switch to other horrible things for a few days. But the last couple of days, they've been attacking my heart very severely. I find myself doing like this all the time, just trying to, just worried, very concerned about my future and how horrible it is that they're getting away with this long-term process of murder, and it's not fun. I talk about my right foot all the time because for the longest time now, they've been putting their broadcast into my right foot, and it's most of the time now, and it's starting to cause more of like a permanent injuries where it always hurts. It's difficult to walk, and they'll stop. They'll stop like when it gets really bad, or if I make 10 videos about it. If I make a video about it twice a day for 3 or 4 days, 5 days, they'll stop doing it. But they'll only stop doing it for long enough for things to settle down and for me to feel like it's not a severe injury, and then they'll start back. They'll start back doing it because they have a long-term goal to cause a certain type of damage to gain a certain result. And physical disability is often their result that they're seeking. And ultimately, they would like for you to have a shorter lifespan. If you could say, okay, in 10 years, I'm going to know enough computer programming and enough about all these devices and everything, and I'm going to study computer science and electromagnetics and neurological stuff, and I'm going to go through all of these colleges and do all of this stuff, and you actually started to do that, okay, and they would know within those 10 years you would gain enough knowledge to destroy them. Well, they would make their plan something that would try to get rid of you in less time than that. And that's kind of what I'm facing. I feel like they're trying to kill me basically in less time that it's going to take for me to gain the knowledge to destroy them and have the whole world knowing really what's going on. So, excuse me, the problem for them is they need to do it in a way that doesn't appear to be related to broadcast torture. And they cross that boundary all the time. And when they're attacking my heart and I feel like I'm about to die, or when they're all in my neck with broadcast and I feel like my neck's about to explode, or I'm going to have some kind of aneurysm or something like that, they're crossing that line. And when they put their broadcast into my foot or my leg or something like that, or attacking my genitals, and when they're doing these things, especially the foot, man, it's been so bad lately, and it's become an injury. It caused my foot to want to curl up like this after hours and hours. I feel like my foot wants to curl up. I'm limping. Literally, I'm limping around from no injury, just broadcast torture that's leading to more severe permanent injuries. And what happens is it starts to cause damage, and you start to realize, like, wow, like they're pushing it far. I'm actually going to end up having to seek medical treatment, and they would definitely stop at that point. Like if it gets to the point where they've actually caused some damage and you're going to have to seek medical treatment and there's no choice in the matter, they'll stop. They'll completely stop touching your foot or wherever that area is. They might continue to do something else to you, but they will completely stop and try to give you time to heal up, because that's crossing the line of becoming evident that there's something else going on here rather than some injury or some body condition, some sort of ailment or sickness or disease or cancer or anything like that. It's obviously related to something outside, like this broadcast torture. And so they'll push it up to that point, and they try to walk that line of balancing between hurt you as much as they can, um, make the process as speedy as possible without becoming evident, without making it obvious that they've murdered you with broadcasts. Um, and that's what I'm dealing with now. That's what I'm dealing with like every single day. It's always real bad. And, when they get on live on mind control and start a live stream. So when I say they're a live stream, that means they got 4 or 5 or 10 guys that are on mind control, girls, guys, whatever, the whole group of them, and they're all on mind control, like living as broadcast, and to them it's like a game. And so they're doing that, and they're actually streaming live over the internet, and they hide these streams all over the place. Typically, it would be like in some the background somewhere, or some customized application that they've created, which they also host, that is directly related to your social media accounts and profile or something like that. And they'll run these live streams, hidden live streams of EMF broadcast, gang stalking, remote neural monitoring. They all play these games together, and but when the live stream starts, man, it gets nasty, violent, and I can always tell, like, because 4 or 5 of them, they appear to be competing for recognition, or like for my attention. It's like they're begging for a man's attention. They're competing for an attention, because they all start using stupid, ridiculous sounding voice settings, okay? And then at the same time, they're all like, hey, 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 like they're trying to get my attention. And they want you to acknowledge them so they can create an attempt at saying some dumb shit to have you interact with them. And somehow that's great for their live stream or whatever game they're playing. And it's not fun. It's not safe. It's not fun. It's dangerous. It's harming people. Ultimately, it really boils down to genocide. That's what it actually boils down to. But if you really think about it, and look around, and what all is available, on the consumer level, you should pretty well understand that the consumer level is way behind what's actually available. And what's available on the consumer level is just about scary, as far as like technology. And so it's not far-fetched, okay? If we had radio broadcasts and TV broadcasts 100 years ago, and all kinds of wild stuff. I seen something yesterday where they're actually using like plasma laser broadcasts as a force field around like tanks and stuff like that. I seen something where like a missile will go up in the air and then spin out bunch of little bitty missiles that also spin out a bunch of little bullets, and they all have like GPS guidance to hit something within a precise range. And these kind of things are like computer stuff, and it's all so wild now, man. And people are becoming more and more cybernetic, where we're all cybernetic, basically, where a human is intertwined with computer systems. And for us to be on neural monitoring, dealing with broadcast technologies, it's not like actual telepathy, because actual telepathy is a thing. All right, and that because if you're able to receive and somebody's able to receive you, then a signal exists. There must be some signal that can be received. And you can also verify that through consumer level technology about mind control and devices, remote controlled helicopters, or things you can wear that, disabled people that can like communicate with computers, or have like think something and have a device that would say it for them, and all kinds of things that are related to your neurological process that are consumer level things. And what those consumer level things do is verify and prove to that everything else is possible. Okay. So obviously there's some signals going back and forth, or we are able to receive and we are able to be received, our neurological processes. So that in itself is telepathy. It proves that telepathy exists, and in a natural form, our comprehension of it is the lagging part of the whole thing. But that's where computer technology and broadcast technology come into play. So when a gang stalker's doing stuff to you, they're connected to you, but it's not like they're just standing next to you like reading your mind. They have a satellite computer broadcast system that's reading you, and then they've set it up on the computer, on the interface that is neural monitoring. They've set it up to for that to receive you and for them to receive that, and then they've made these connections and they've accessed your neural monitoring. So basically your profile that's based on your neurological broadcast frequency. They've accessed your neural monitoring and made the connection with their neural monitoring, so they're able to be connected with you unconsensually and to do all of these bizarre things. And unfortunately it boils down to torture a lot of times. And why? I don't care why. I don't care about their sick, demented ways. Okay, when somebody tries to take over the world and they go around killing everybody, what do we do to those people as a world society? What do we do to those? We hunt them down and we kill them, and we eliminate the threat. Okay, always, always, every war that I can remember, when somebody's going around doing genocide and trying to kill everybody or trying to take over the world, what do we do? All right, and I'm not saying gang stalkers are trying to take over the world, but I'm saying that gang stalkers are using technology unconsensually against those that don't have it for torture, murder, genocide, slavery, human trafficking, all of those things. And we have to acknowledge that that's what they're doing, and we have to treat this appropriately, as in people are using a technology to commit genocide, murder, slavery, human trafficking, all of these things. It's all unconsensual, and that's what they're doing with this technology. So I doubt we'll be able to get rid of the technology, because technology pretty much stays flat or goes one direction, up or flat. We don't really lose technology. I mean, I'm sure it's happened in the past, but in this modern time, I mean, we live 80 years. So, if you're looking at things on 100,000 year basis, that doesn't matter for your life. So you live 80 years, and in 80 years, this technology is going to be more advanced, and it's not going anywhere if the comet doesn't hit the planet. So we have to figure out how to go about this thing, where people that call themselves gang stalkers are using this technology in malicious ways against people that don't have access to this technology. The only true solution is everybody has to have their own neural monitoring. And that's like you control who's able to connect to you on a neurological level, because we know the technology exists. So that's the only way to truly protect yourself. Knowledge is the most important thing. You need to learn everything you can, but they're not genius hackers and wizards. Somebody gave them, hey, look, let me show you this. This is what we do, this is how you can do this. And somebody showed it to them. And maybe they start to learn stuff down that line afterwards, the technological side of it, when it comes to broadcast and waves, electromagnetics and computer programming, stuff like that. But initially, these probably 99.9% of the people that have it got it and had no idea what it really was, or couldn't fully understand it, at least until after they had it. And still, most of them probably still don't fully understand it all the way, even though they do have it. But basically, you got idiots passing it around to other idiots like crack rock, and they love mind control so much to be connected to other people. It gives them a sense of power, gives them power over other people. It gives them the ability to do horrible things without consequence. And we really have to start thinking about where this is headed, because um, I'm not going to sit here and watch genocide happen. I'm not going to sit here and watch them decide who to destroy. They're not that cool to me. I think that they're waging war, and we have to look at it exactly that way. So anyway, that's about all for now. The update was basically because they're violently attacking me. I'm injured right now. My right foot is injured. They were attacking my heart a lot in the last 24 hours, and also all over my genitals, making me feel like I've been molested by broadcast for the last 24 hours. And it's just horrible. It's horrible to deal with. But um, I'm going to keep hanging in there, right? Hanging in there. So do everything you could do with, um, yeah, look, I'll tell you why I said that, because a person that I know that pretends to be some sort of victim all the time, and has like some horrible life, or pretends to, and they're a gang stalker. And I found out they're like a serious gang stalker that does horrible things to a lot of people. And I remember somebody would say, how are you? How are things? And they would always say, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. It was a girl. I'm hanging in there. It's so sick when you find out how horrible people really are. And for a long time, that's what I struggled with. I struggled with, like, how can they be this horrible? How can they be doing such horrible things? And after a while, you don't even care about their mental disorders and their horribleness and their evil, wicked ways. You don't care anymore. You just know that they're waging war and you have no choice. So learn computer programming, learn everything computer science that you can figure out. And it's a process. It's going to take you, uh, 2 to 10 years to learn enough, but start doing it today. That's the best possible route you can take, because that's going to give you a lot of power in time. Okay, and I've been dealing with gang stalkers for a decade, 10 years. So if I would have got very serious about this 10 years ago, and got like a master's degree in programming, and started studying physics and electromagnetics and all of that stuff, I would have way a long time ago probably already had my neural monitoring and gotten rid of them and changed the world. Who knows? But that's the pathway you have to take. You have to learn about those things to give yourself the power to be able to save yourself and your family. Basically, it really boils down to that. And so you can either do it, or you can not do it and just fade away, and your family will fade away. You really have to make a choice, because they're not going to let up. They're not going to let up, and I'm not going to let up either. So that's my personality. I'll be fighting against them with everything that I can figure out. Okay, until my last breath, and that's who I am. So I think you should do the same, because you only get one life. You really only get one life, and we didn't choose this battle. We did not choose this battle. They chose it for us. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.